You good?
Mhm.
Okay. It is 7:03 and we are returning from closed session. Is there action to be taken?
There is. I'll make a motion to approve new hires as presented by the superintendent.
Motion made by Ms. Hubbard.
Second.
Not new hires though, Morgan.
No.
New teacher, administrator contract?
I'm very sorry. This is what's in board book. But I will approve the new teacher administrator contracts as presented.
Okay. Motion to approve new teacher and administrator contracts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Owens. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? And motion passes. And also, I forgot to mention that Mr. Padilla is absent tonight and everyone else is present. And he's absent from online too.
Ms. Hubbard, can I ask clarification on the first motion? Because there was one teacher, one new hire.
That was the first motion that was in board book.
Okay,
And that was tied to 3A.
Consideration
Right.
of new teacher administrator contract.
Right, right.
New hires and new positions and then new contracts, probationary contracts. There's 3 different things.
Right. And so just for clarification, what was in board book was to approve new hires as presented by the superintendent. I amended it to reflect
What is on the agenda?
teacher and administrator contracts as presented. Mhm.
yeah,
It's the same thing.
Okay.
because we're extending a contract to them.
And there was a new hire.
Mhm,
Okay.
One.
Okay, item 3B, I'll make a motion to postpone until the end of our meeting tonight. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Boutwell. Any discussion? We're going to postpone that until after a presentation that we get during this meeting. So, all in favor? And motion passes. Any other?
Yes, consideration. I'll make a motion to approve probationary and term administrative contracts as presented.
Motion made by Ms. Hubbard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boutwell. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. It?
Mhm.
Okay. We will stand for the pledge of allegiance. Moment of silence.
The pledge of allegiance. I do too.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
Under the Texas flag,
I
pledge
allegiance to thee, Texas,
one
state, under God, one
and indivisible.
And if you feel led, remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Amen.
And then don't sit down.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to recite our mission and our vision statement. So our vision statement says, Hutto ISD aspires to be the premier choice in education through innovation, leadership, and diversity. And the mission statement, Hippo Nation inspires excellence in academics, character,
And community.
Yes, you can sit down now. And so you guys be thinking about for our next meeting in 2 weeks, how does it look to you guys that we're meeting our vision statement? Like, what does that look like to you? And we'll talk about that in our next meeting. Think about our vision statement, what What does that look like to you, how we're meeting that in or how we're striving to it? What are the things that we're doing to strive towards that little challenge, little extra challenge? Okay. District recognitions.
All right, let's get started with our hippos of the month. And we're going to start off with Cottonwood Creek, Miss Fachicano. Let's get us started. So congratulations to all of our kiddos.
Hey, good evening. I'm very excited to be able to present our student, and I know I saw her there. Hi, Adria. Our student is Adria Fernandez. She is our legendary Hippo of the Month student. She was nominated by Miss Stepanoff, our art teacher, and she was second by many other staff members. Adria is an amazing student in our second grade dual language classroom. She is consistently inquisitive and always eager to learn. She often shares her learning in and out of class with other students because her heart is in all about learning. Her relentless passion for knowledge is exactly why CC is honored to recognize Adria as our Hippo of the Month. Felicidades, Adria.
Way to go, Miss Audra. Is that you in the blue cap? Yes, that's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you, Miss Fachicano. All right, from Hutto Elementary, Miss Rosser.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, all. It is my privilege to recognize a beautiful fourth grade student. She was the first faces I saw in, so Miss Ava Magnum is a fourth student, and she was nominated by her teachers, Miss Alford and Miss Garola. Miss Alford shared that Ava is a model student who has a huge heart and is super helpful to all of her classmates. Ava is always the first student to offer to help another, whether it be with a math problem or needing assistance carrying things. Most recently, another student dropped her belongings when the fourth graders were switching classes, and Ava put her stuff down, got out of line to help the other student pick up all of her items that she dropped. Miss Alford definitely captured the wonderful young lady that Ava is on a daily basis. When I think of her, I picture a helper. Ava, you are such a blessing to your classmates, to our campus, and to me as a principal. I'm so very proud of you, and I know you're going to go far with your joyful and giving spirit and your servant heart.
All right, Miss Ava, way to go.
Congratulations.
All right, from Howard Norman Elementary, Mrs. Abrams.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Miss Abrams, principal at Howard Norman, and we are honoring Mariah Choice this evening. I know she's out there. I think I saw Dad's name, so I know you guys are listening. And it was so fun to make this call to parents. And when we're celebrating students, I definitely want to celebrate parents too, because it doesn't just happen. Mariah is being celebrated today.
Name on there, so I knew which one.
Mm-hmm.
Mariah is being celebrated today because she is a first grade leader in Miss Parker's class. She leads the class through chants. She tells her teacher every day how much she loves school. In fact, that's one of the things her mom said. She just loves school and she just chants about it and says things every day. Recently, when they did a writing assignment, Miss Parker says this is just describes Mariah, that she wrote that one day she wants to be a custodian to clean and get things done and be happy so others can be happy too. And what a joy to have somebody at our campus who truly sets out to make others happy, makes that a part of who she is. And we're so proud of you, Mariah, and Miss Parker nominated you out of all the first graders, and we're so proud of you to be at Howard Norman. Congratulations.
Yay, Mariah. Woo-hoo.
There she is.
Yeah. There she is on the screen. We can see you. Way to go, Miss Mariah. Hi. All right, from Doc Curley Elementary School, Mrs. Rugarello.
Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome and congratulate fifth grader Olivia Velasquez. This is what one of her fifth grade teachers said about her. Olivia is an absolute ray of sunshine. She greets her teachers every day with a warm smile and a friendly disposition. She is kind to her peers and advocates for friends who need extra support. This year, fifth graders have been granted email access to communicate with teachers. When we send out notices or progress reports to students, she always responds, thanking us for the information and for our time. Recently, she's reached out to another student in our class who's been really struggling after one of her good friends has gone back to be a virtual student. This student has not been playing with others at recess and she sits alone. Olivia reached out and told this student that she would play with her at recess. She's not only a hard worker in the classroom, but Olivia has the biggest heart and is kind to others. Congratulations, the Velasquez family. We're so proud of Olivia.
All right, way to go, Olivia. See you on the screen. Way to go. All right, from Nadine Johnson Elementary, Mrs. Reichel.
All right, well, thank you very much. I see Dominic on the screen. Hi, Dominic. I'm so excited to get to honor you this evening. Yeah, Dominic is a first grader in Miss Barone's class. She nominated Dominic. Miss Barone said that Dominic is an exceptional student. He works hard every day. He is self-motivated and puts forth his best effort in all his work. He is courteous and shows kindness to others. He follows classroom rules and is a great example to those around him. He brings joy and laughter to his classroom. And I can attest to that. Right before spring break, I had an opportunity to do an observation in Dominic's classroom. And Dominic was just really right on task, very focused on what he was doing. And I was so proud of him. And when I told the secretary who to call for our Hippo of the Month this month, she was so excited. I have never seen so much excitement from her when I told her that Dominic had been nominated.
All right, way to go, Dominic. Congratulations. Is he on the screen? Oh, yeah, there he is. Fantastic. All right, thank you, Mrs. Reichel. Bye-bye, Dominic. All right, from Ray Elementary, Mrs. Campbell.
Hello, everyone. So our Hippo of the Month for Ray Elementary is Miss Taylor Prinzo. Hey, Taylor, how are you? So Taylor's Mrs. Tiemann and Mrs. Ruiz, who are also here on the Zoom, they nominated Mrs. Prinzo as our Hippo of the Month. So in pre-K, we're blessed to teach the foundations of learning, letters and sounds, numbers, shapes, sharing, being kind, productive classmate, and etc. We want all of our students to fall in love with learning and to treat others with kindness and respect. All these things are evident in our student, Taylor Prinzo. She brings a positive attitude, kindness, encouragement, and empathy to our class every day. She takes learning seriously and she lifts others up along the way. Here are a couple of examples of the way Taylor helps others and treats everyone with kindness and caring. As each student was learning to independently place items in his or her backpack, Taylor saw a need and stepped in to help a fellow classmate that struggled to get his folder, lunchbox, and water bottle in his backpack. She showed empathy for him and patiently showed him how to successfully complete this task. Students in pre-K earn Hippo tickets for showing the Hippo traits of respect, responsibility, and safety. All tickets earned are placed in a drawing. Every Friday, 2 students are chosen to receive a prize from the Ray prize box. Taylor receives her fair share of tickets and she won a prize. However, I am more proud of the fact that she is happy for her classmates when they are winners. She congratulates them and she tells them good job. This shows her compassion and caring for others. Taylor is great all-around student and a kind girl. Her academic accomplishments and her caring and concern for others make her a great friend and role model for her classmates. We're very proud of this amazing 5-year-old. Way to go, Taylor. Love your teachers. And Mrs.
Awesome, way to go, Taylor. That's fantastic, and we can see you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Campbell. All right, from Veterans Hill Elementary, Mrs. Patero.
Hi, good evening. I am so excited to recognize Mr. Nico Gutierrez. Congratulations, Nico. You were nominated by your teacher, Ms. De Leon, and this is what she has to say. She says that Nico is a role model for his peers. He is responsible, kind, respectful, and honest. He cares about his work, he tells the truth even when it's hard, and he uses kind words with his friends. Way to go, Nico. You are already learning in kindergarten what it means to exemplify the Hippo way and be an awesome student. BHE is so proud to have you as part of our family. Congratulations.
Way to go, Nico. See on the screen?
I think so.
Okay. Congratulations. All right, and from Hutto Middle School, we have Mr. Swick representing Hutto Middle School tonight.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to represent Hutto Middle School, introduce Mr. Van Walker. He goes by Van. Mr. Walker is a 6th grade virtual student at Hutto Middle School. We often hear of all the struggles of virtual learning, but that's not the case for Van. He is an amazing virtual student who is constantly participating and doing his very best on his work. He is currently maintaining an A/B average in all of his classes. On top of being a 6th grader, he is seen on camera multitasking, helping around the house with paperwork, as well as helping to take care of his 2-year-old twin siblings. We have seen him on camera answering questions and helping to feed a sibling at the same time. He is a great big brother, dedicated to his studies, and is very polite. He makes effort to tell his teachers that they are doing a good job. Thank you, Van, for being a bright spot of our day of virtual teaching and learning. We thank you for all your hard work. Congratulations on being Hutto Middle School's Hippo of the Month. Thank you.
Way to go, Van. We can see you.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Swick.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a blessed day.
Bye. All right, from Farley Middle School, Mr. Willoughby.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm proud to nominate and to speak about Miss Evangeline Evie Power. I know she's out there. Miss Evie is one of our amazing student leaders on campus, and she has an amazing work ethic. When I sent out the call for nominations, we had several teachers respond, and all of them say the same thing. She's very respectful, extremely kind, and is willing to help her fellow students and teachers with anything that is needed. Her classmates look up to her. She's definitely a leader here at Farley Middle School, and she's the very essence of what we try to do. And here at Farley Middle School, we choose kindness, respect, and grace, and Evie is an example of that. She is kind to her classmates. She extends respect to her teachers and everyone else around her, and she truly understands what it means to extend grace. She's a blessing to have here. And she's going to be a huge benefit to Farley Middle School for the next, after this year, for the next 2 years. She's going to be a great student leader in Hutto ISD because she is fearfully and wonderfully made. Evie, congratulations.
All right, Miss Evie, way to go. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Willoughby. All right, and from River Horse Academy, Mr. McConaughey.
Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here tonight. I missed you guys, but I'm here to introduce Dr. I'm here to introduce Ms. Diana Orozco. Diana has only been at RHA for a short time. However, in that time, she has become one of our leading students, making excellence her habit in both character and academics. According to Mr. Lawson, Diana is an absolute gem. She came into River Horse and embraced the culture from day one. Basically, she came in, got to work, and never looked back. There hasn't been one day that Diana has slacked off or not done what she is needed to do. Now, the most important part is her character and personality. Diana is always positive. She always has a positive attitude and is always smiling. She is super respectful and listens to advice with open ears. She is everything that we look for in a River Horse student. So congratulations, Diana, and thank you for making an excellent habit.
All right, Miss Diana, congratulations. Thank you, Mr. McConaughey. And from Hutto High School, Mr. Christian.
All right, our student of the month is Gian Morellis, and I believe I saw him out there. Gian's a senior here at Hutto High School. He's a great student. He does what he's supposed to do all over the place. He's one of our top students. He's a member of our CMA, our Certified Medical Assistant Program. And as that, he has already passed his certification test of that and already passed his EKG test.
Wow.
And however, what has gotten him nominated for Student of the Month by Miss Heinrich was the work that Gian has put into helping another student in the class, a second language learner in there, who he has worked with to help to make sure that student has understood word meanings, pronunciations, and just helping that student and working independently with that student to make sure that he is able to do a good job. And it has all ended up with that student also being able to pass his certification exams. And that's the kind of thing we want to see with our students. It's not enough for Gian to get himself across that finish line, but he has taken upon himself to make sure to help another student get there. And, we're really proud of him, and we're proud of what he's going to do to help us. And for himself, he's going to leave us here in May. He's going to go, he told me, either to UT or to A&M, and wants to keep in the health profession, but he's going to leave us. He's going to do a great job, and we're really proud of everything that Gian has done for us.
All right, way to go, Gian. Congratulations. UT's a great place to go. Go Horns. All right, thank you, Mr. Christian. And now for our staff of the month, starting out with our teacher of the month from River Horse Academy, Mr. Richard Paz. Mr. McConaughey, tell us about Mr. Paz.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I know Mr. Paz is out there. I want to tell you, Richard Paz creates a standard of excellence in all he does for the students at River Horse Academy, whether it's pulling students out for one-on-one instruction or facilitating telepass testing with a group of students. Mr. Paz puts everyone's needs above his own, which raises the standard of excellence for those around him. In addition to his many responsibilities as a SPED teacher at RHA, Mr. Paz also serves as the LPAC rep. He's the 504 coordinator and the lone Spanish speaker at RHA. So needless to say, we would struggle to function without his services. Mr. Paz epitomizes all that we look for in an employee in Hutto ISD, and through his service and steadfast dedication to his duties, he has certainly made excellence his habit. Mr. Paz, congratulations.
We can see your face, Mr. Paz. Congratulations. Way to go. All right, and now our support staff member of the month from Cottonwood Creek Elementary, Ms. Pachicono. Tell us about Ms. Valerie Kozak.
Ms. Kozak, congratulations.
Oh, there she is.
Ms. Kozak, CCE is beyond honored to recognize our counselor, Valerie Kozak, as our support staff Hippo of the Month. Ms. Kozak, we admire your positivity amid all of the challenges that this year has brought and the various dynamics that you have effortlessly managed to navigate staff, students, and families through. You go above and beyond to help everyone. That's everyone with a capital E. You remind us all of how important it is to take care of our mind, body, and soul. Thank you for all you do at Cottonwood Creek Elementary. You truly are legendary at our campus. Thank you, Ms. Kozak.
Way to go, Ms. Kozak.
Guys.
And we have a second support staff member of the month, another counselor in our district, Ms. Laura Roberton. Mr. McConaughey, you're on quite a bit tonight.
I had to make up for the last board meeting, ma'am. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. All right, I want to introduce Laura Roberton. She serves as our RHA counselor and certainly sets the standard of excellence through the support she provides to students and staff. Her service and dedication to our students inspires excellence in relationships and positive mental health. She can be witnessed throughout the day, walking the hall of RHA, visiting with students, hosting counseling sessions, facilitating TSI testing, and leading transition meetings for our DAP students. Not only does she go above and beyond for the students at RHA, but she assists other Hutto ISD students by volunteering on the district impact team and serving in emergency capacity at even other campuses. If this wasn't enough, Ms. Robertson also coordinates all the staff events from Fun Food Fridays to birthday celebrations, all of which help maintain the positive culture we have at RHA. She performs all of these duties with the utmost kindness, caring, and grace, creating the standard of excellence for all others to follow. At RHA, we aspire to make excellence our habit, and we do so by following leaders like Ms. Robertson. Congratulations, ma'am. It is well deserved.
All right, way to go, Ms. Roberton. Love those smiles. Way to go. Congratulations, everyone.
And I love that sign. Just because my path looks different doesn't mean I'm lost. That's awesome. You missed it,
The background.
the background that they had.
Have a lot of neat
That
signs over there.
was a gift from Dr. Estrada Thomas. Thank you very much.
Oh.
The fabulous signage in our campus is a gift from Dr. Estrada Thomas. We love it.
Oh, well, thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
So he had some really neat posters. So we had Drew over with our printing. Oh, what's the name of his company?
Fingerprint.
Yes, Fingerprint Ideas. And he did some really nice work throughout the building. It looks really nice.
Awesome.
All right. We have no public comment tonight, correct?
Correct.
So we will move on down to the president's report. So this is your chance to share about committee assignments you had or anything. Who wants to go first?
I'll go
Sheriff? Felix?
I wasn't able to make the ERI task force last night. I was out of town. But I know that they're continuing to work with a lot of good material and they're really putting a whole lot of effort and all their heart. You guys need to know that these guys talk about information that is sensitive in a lot of places, but at the same time, it's something that needs to be discussed. And when I say they put their heart into it, they really come prepared to talk about what they're going to discuss. And we have a very good group. But I'll also share with you guys about the Hutto Resource Center. Okay? The Hutto Resource Center for the second Saturday in a row has seen some of the numbers diminish of the people that are coming through the assistance line, which is a very good sign of where we're going in our economy and how people are doing in our community. I think the stimulus package has helped in a lot of other things, but on top of that, we're trying to promote also a lot more help for Hutto Resource Center. So you guys are going to be getting some information on the golf tournament, and I'd like to see some representation from Hutto ISD.
Very well, yes.
I mean, I'll be the encourager, but I'm not golfing. Thank you. Morgan, do you want
I
to?
don't think I have anything to share, unfortunately, sorry.
Okay, so I have some notes because since the last month, I guess we had the Hutto Education Foundation annual retreat plus their board meeting. And so a few announcements from them is that they have the HEFT Hippo Scramble at Star Ranch on Monday. If you're interested in coming by to visit, they'll be out there pretty much all day. Even if you want to come after work, there's time for that.
It's coming Monday.
Monday the 29th. And I think, Mr. Chavez, you're participating,
yes.
right?
Todd.
Yeah, Todd, yeah. And then scholarship applications for seniors are due April 19th. So if you could help us get the word out for that, that would be great. And then we just had some stats from the last year that we wanted to share. In 2020, we impacted over 8,400 students. We donated $104,000 in grants back to Hutto ISD teachers and staff. There were 36 corporate partners, 25 scholarships awarded, student leadership grants, and 7 student leadership grants, and 31 teacher and staff grant recipients. So it's just a reminder of all the work they do and how that comes back to our district.
Me? Had the great chamber gala, and then it went downhill from there. Sorry, I'm recovering from COVID. Anyway, yeah.
He's past his days.
Yeah, way past them. But no, the chamber gala was great, but I haven't done anything since.
What about, have you guys had any bond meetings?
We haven't.
Okay.
Attended the Central Texas School Board Association's meetings this week. It actually was 2 nights. I didn't attend the second night, but it was an opportunity to meet our legislators. So we had several House reps, a couple of state senators, and the board just kind of talked about what was going on down in Austin and how things are starting to come out of committees and what kind of people are starting to feel the focus is going to be on. And as far as public ed, they're still really trying to push taxpayer lobbyists and trying to get away from that and us not having that opportunity. Fund balance and designation of those funds are really starting to pick up steam. Local control is still an issue, but one of the things they talked a lot about was $18 billion that's been awarded to public education and where those funds are going. And making sure that the state does not try to use the money to supplement their responsibilities, but to just be an added resource and funds that the district can have to help get our schools back open safely. So, and I have calls out, so I will be meeting with our state senator and James Tellerico, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, just to kind of develop a relationship there.
Awesome. So I have a couple of things. We met Shara and myself and Dr. Thomas over the last few days this week about the superintendent goals. And we got those finished this morning. So you guys will be getting those and we'll talk about those in detail and share those. You'll have time to look over them for our next meeting, April 8th, I believe is our next meeting. You know, we'll just talk more about those in detail then when you get a chance to see them, but know that the work did get done. And then also, yay for Summer Leadership Institute back in person. So this year's, the San Antonio session is June 16th through the 19th. Philip, I know you're dying to go, but sorry.
Not invited.
I'll swing by.
Yes, please do.
This is really, this is one of my favorite ones, the San Antonio one. It's a little bit smaller than the big TASB conference, but you know, you guys mark your calendars. Linda, is the registration coming open soon for that?
I didn't really get a chance to look at the
Oh, sorry. You know, hopefully it's something that we can all attend together. We haven't been to a conference together, but mark your calendars and see if that's something you're available for.
Have we given those dates to the candidates so that they could potentially?
I mean, just now talking about them, so.
Okay.
I'll make sure they get it.
The other option is if you wanted to go also to Fort Worth, June 23rd through 26th. However, if you chose that, you would be missing one of our board meetings. So we hope the San Antonio one is the first choice.
That's when we adopt the budget.
April 28th.
Deadline is April 28th. Okay. What did you say?
I was going to say the June 25th board meeting date is when we adopt the budget.
So it's an important one.
It's an important one, yes.
And also Morgan, I'm sorry, April 28th, Linda? Just so you know, since you asked about that, we also are having copies of the governance core for the candidates or for the, we'll have those available for the new people when they're ready. So, and Dr. Thomas also invited them to visit our meetings and then come to our meeting whenever we talk about, especially about the results from our team, our board self-evaluation. So it could be a little unprepared. And then we did the, everybody turned in their ballot for the Region 13 directors. Anything else? Okay. Dr. Thomas?
Okay. Dr. Sermani, can you put up the instructional update? And as he's doing that, there's also another attachment under superintendent section, and that's just the monthly report that Chief Edwards submits on police activity. That's just like any one of the other reports, just for your information. I'm not going to stand up because it's very awkward to stand up there with all the wires and you end up giving your back to the people. So we're going to start off with some really exciting news from Williamson County Public Health data. Our infection rates as of March the 24th 7.7 per 100,000. And if you remember, the peak in January was at 72 per 100,000. So
Wow.
just a huge, huge drop in those infection rates. There were 48 new cases reported on the 24th. This is the 5th straight day with less than 50 new cases. As of March 24th, 11% of the folks 16 years and up have been fully vaccinated, and 28% have received at least one dose. And I know the governor's about to release vaccines to everyone 16 and up beginning next week. So that's just going to continue to increase those rates. We have moved up, or I guess moved up or down. We've gone from a red phase to an orange phase, and we're hoping that those phases obviously continue into yellow and finally back into green. The dashboard for Hutto ISD only reflects one active staff member. We do have, I think I looked at the data from today, we do have 14 people out for COVID-related reasons, but only one active positive case. As far as the instructional, next slide, the instructional plan updates. We're planning on offering a virtual option for some kids. We found out today, though, at 3 o'clock on our call with the commissioner, and I actually sent the application over to Dr. Sermani and Missy Wright and Meredith Roddy. So I guess the Texas Education Agency has been receiving quite a bit of pressure from school districts across the state wanting to have access to the virtual option. So they have created an application process, and they're only going to select a certain number of districts. So we've not, Dr. Sermani is starting to look at it. Again, it just came out today. So we'll start looking at what that application will entail. But we're hoping to be able to offer a virtual option to our kids as we open up school in August, especially if we can get approved for it and if we're going to receive funding for it. We're planning on the largest summer school operation we've ever had to combat learning loss, and we're going to look at offering it obviously at the high school, at Curley, and at Howard Norman. And
The middle schoolers go to high school?
yes, the middle school kiddos go to the high school.
The middle schools are both under renovation. Renovation schedule drives the.
Right.
Yeah. And we also have a task force meeting up here in April. I think I sent an invitation to Billy and Terrence since they were part of the return to school effort. So we tapped some of those same parents and teachers. So right now we're looking for a meeting location. As soon as we solidify that, we'll get the calendar invitation out. From Human Resources, here we go. Once again, we've got one confirmed case, 5 that are isolated for symptoms, and 6 that are quarantined. And to date, there have been 16 resignations due to COVID related concerns. Finances haven't changed a whole lot since last month. We're still at $3.6 million. The commissioner did mention the federal funding today, but he did say that they had not figured out how they were going to distribute those funds. I did send an email to both Representative Tallarico and Schwartner advocating that the money come directly to school districts. We'll see where that lands. But I think there's been enough endorsements from school districts across the state that the money flow directly to school districts, and hopefully we can begin to affect these numbers.
And there's a lot of talk with the next stimulus plan. That's kind of what she's referring to. The second stimulus plan has a lot of money dedicated for schools and also earmarked for summer school because of the loss makeup.
So next slide, Dr. Sermani. As far as our safety plan, no changes to our practices. We have talked as an executive team. We're continuing to evaluate all of the requests that we're getting in for district travel, and we're slowly allowing kids and staff out, obviously with guidelines. Participation at athletic events is now up to 50%. We have not relaxed the mask requirement right now. We're working with campuses on resuming after-school events, showcases, performances, award ceremonies with guidelines. Obviously, not anything during the day just yet, but we are hoping to have at least end of the year celebrations in May and allowing parents to come in as long as we can follow safety guidelines. And who knows, maybe by then we will be at a green phase and we can relax it even more. But just know that we are trying to be as flexible as we can and hoping to get our families back in as soon as we can. A big note just on the safety plan, fully vaccinated people no longer have to isolate or quarantine, which is going to help our absences dramatically. As long as they're asymptomatic, once again, once you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to isolate.
So that's for our staff.
Well, that's for staff and for kids 16 and up, but those will only be a few at the high school.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, how do you know? Because they tell you that they're vaccinated?
It's part of the protocol when a staff member, and that's handled privately and only with HR staff, obviously, but it's
the questions that they
it's
answer.
part of the questions that they have to answer, right?
And they would have to provide a copy of their vaccination card as well. It's only if they're saying that they need to isolate or quarantine, and then we ask that question.
I see. Any questions?
We've been able to determine what percentage of staff have been fully vaccinated?
No, I wish I could. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been asking Lisa that question for the last couple of weeks, ever since we were moved up to the front of the line. Right now, there's no legal requirement for any employee to, they can volunteer that information, obviously, but yeah, we haven't been collecting it.
But do we collect it then when they answer those questions, when they come on campus?
No, we collect it if they contact the office about having to quarantine or isolate because of an exposure.
It is part of the questionnaire. Like, have you been around somebody in 14 days? Have you had the test?
Oh, that questionnaire, if they
Yes.
call and say they have
Yes.
to isolate?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't clarify that. Yes.
I think it's worth noting that being able to collaborate with all the different, the health department, the county, to provide opportunities for our staff who want to become vaccinated, that has been critical, I think, in us moving forward. So.
Yeah, and we've been trying to get that information out as we get updates about where clinics are being held, we get that out.
And remind me, is that 16 and up or 18? 16 and up can get
I
it?
think it depends on the shot too, right?
Yeah, it's just 16 and up. There is the two Moderna and Pfizer are being tested now for children as young as 3.
I thought one of them was 16, one of them was 18.
Now, I don't know about Johnson & Johnson, but the two that are hitting our state are the 16 and up.
Okay.
But we're going to have a meeting with Wilco to discuss the possibility of our vaccinating kids. In other words, what's the capacity? What would be required if we did some assistance with vaccination? Mike Shue just sent that out to us today. But I think that's still 16 and up category at this point in time.
It'd be for the high school only.
I could be wrong, Philip. I'll double check that. I think both of Moderna and Pfizer are 16.
I thought I saw it today, but I mean, it could be too. I could be mistaken.
Did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to add to Morgan's comment. Also, we're providing coverage for teachers and staff members as they get the call and they need to go and get their shots. We provided coverage and flexibility. So we're doing all we can to make it as convenient for the staff to go and take care of that as possible.
And they're sharing that too. I do want to say that, like, I've seen that on social media where teachers share that we are providing them unfettered access to that. And so I think if it were me, I would very much just say that that's a huge thing that we're doing for them as well. So, I mean, it's dual purpose, obviously. So thank you for that commitment to them, for those that choose to do it.
Okay, should I go on to the superintendent report? All right, moving on to the superintendent report, just starting out with some celebrations. The Magic Bus story just keeps on giving. It's been printed by the Special Ed Connection, so it's getting quite a bit of circulation. So kudos again to Dr. Kurth and our SPED staff for their continued work with our Magic School Bus. Also along the same lines, the 18 plus students, and it's also in the operations report. We've got multiple kids from the program that are now gainfully employed by the district. And Peter Gonzalez just raves about their work. So really proud of that we're able to offer that opportunity for our kiddos. Campus showcases are complete. We finished this week with both middle schools, Hutto Middle and Farley Middle School. So Mr. Willoughby, Mr. McCullough, thank you so much for doing such a great job. And I just want to acknowledge Missy Wright and all of her work behind the scenes to get those organized. They have really been fruitful and eye-opening, and it really informs the budget and it informs definitely our plans for the coming school year. So can't say enough about that. Job fair was a huge success. I don't know that we've had a chance to give kudos to Lisa Patterson and Dr. Almquist and the entire HR team. That was a fabulous event. And now that we've done it once, it's going to have to be an ongoing tradition. It's going to get better and better. And if you've not had a chance to look at the bond information link on the website, also kudos to Cassie Balderas and Brandon Cardwell for putting that together. I love the look of it. It's very consistent. It's very predictable and it's accessible, and
it has a tab on the front page, so it's easy to find and get to.
Yeah, and go to. So as you get questions, community members who may be listening, if you want to know about progress on any of the projects taking place in the district, you can go to the website and get more information, or you can ask any of the board members and they can direct you of where this information is housed. So again, just want to applaud our communications folks for getting that done, because I know it's not an easy task. Enrollment is holding steady at 8549. It's hard to believe that we're going to hit 9,000. We're going to exceed 9,000 next year, and it's staying right up there. Continuing to always look at turnover rates. The district-wide turnover rate is sitting right at 8.9, but our teacher turnover rate is sitting right at 2.85, which is really, really good. You always want that teacher turnover rate to stay under 10%. And I know we're already starting to get resignations for the end of the school year for people that are relocating or just looking at other advancements in their careers. But I'm really hoping that we can continue to hold on to that low number. Resignations, we had 4 professional resignations that have come in for the end of this school year. I know I put 3, but it's actually 4. And we had 8 non-exempt resignations. I invite you to be part of the superintendent table talk on April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's at 6 p.m. So the last 2 we've done in the morning. So we're going to switch over to the evening on April 1st. And then just to echo Mr. Chavez's comments about the ERA task force, we met last night. The work is moving along nicely. We're really getting closer to an action plan. When we finally adopt the budget in May, Lisa Patterson and I are going to ask for a budget line item so that we have some funds to be able to obviously implement and spearhead that work. But very pleased with Lisa's leadership on that task force. And I think we're really going to be proud of the action plan that we put together. And just to emphasize again, the Summer Leadership Program, the Summer Leadership Institute in San Antonio in June, Joe De Leon and I were asked by TASB to submit a presentation to talk about our family and parent and family engagement program efforts here in the district. And they asked that we bring along one of our school board members. So I asked our president to be part of our presentation team. And so Joe De Leon, Elba Torres, Billy and I will be part of that presentation team in San Antonio. So now you have to come.
And I hope that you guys will all consider it and be able to.
It's such a critical time for us to learn together as a board. So I would echo that.
Yep. So I think if we can let Linda know, because is registration open now, Linda? Those hotels will go fast, right?
Yes, as soon as it opens, it opens.
So we probably should
We have to get our hotel.
let her know as soon as possible.
Can you just go ahead and reserve the rooms and cancel later, or is it?
I can block them.
Yeah, just go ahead and block them just to be on.
Yeah.
And probably, I guess, block, well, 7 for us, just in case, and then whoever else is going.
I can't remember on the SOI, because I know some of the events you have to know what classes you're going to take.
True.
Before you register. So I'm not sure. I'll check into it and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Well, we can at least the hotel rooms, you don't
Oh,
need
yeah, I
to,
can block the rooms.
you don't have to tell what sessions you're going to. Yeah, we'll block those. Okay, I think that's all I have. Right. And we will check, I know Billy and I talked about the self-evaluation form, and I'll get on the phone with David Kemple and find out what the progress is on those.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I cannot tell, Dr. Sormani, do you have a presentation or is that information?
Just
Regular information report.
Okay.
There's some good things in there. More kids with certifications, exams, so good data pieces.
And that might be a chance for us to tell the audience that we've moved to 2 meetings a month, the second and fourth Thursdays, with the second being the chance for us to get a lot of our reporting and updates and that kind of thing. So we got that information a couple of weeks ago. And then Mr. Gideon, yours information also.
That's correct. Your monthly operation as well as your construction reports. And those will be back to the website. Every time we engage the board with public information or you guys take any kind of actions, those will automatically then be uploaded to the bond website so the community can follow along as you get the information in real time.
And then can I just ask or like make a note for the public? Because I know over spring break, there was a lot of chatter about the parking lot at Nadine Johnson having to be torn up again. And so will you just remind us what is happening with that?
Sure. We rejected twice the work that was done there. So on the dime of the contractor and the subcontractor, that work had to be done. You may remember one of the items identified in the long-range master facility planning study. There was significant drainage issues at Nadine Johnson. The parking lot did not drain correctly. It overtopped, and on rainy days, the front of the parking lot was continuously standing in water. So one of the pieces of that project that y'all approved was to refurbish that parking lot. And unfortunately, twice, the civil engineer who is responsible for ensuring that it drains correctly, it failed inspection, so it had to be yanked out and redone. I think the last 2 rain events have proven that they got it right. So 3
All right.
charm.
Good.
In that vein, we have talked to Cassie about the possibility of some type of, because Brandon maintains a Twitter channel called Hippo Hard Hat. And so he throws mainly good fluff pieces out there to keep the public aware of somehow or another linking some kind of flash announcement from the website so that in the future, if we're doing something that's in that type of public purview, it might just simply say, hey, citizens, just want to make you aware. Not go into a whole lot of detail, but if you have any questions, please give us a call.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So Cassie thinks she can do some kind of flash type announcement that Brandon can access or I can access to give general announcements like that. So.
Good. Thank you. All right. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Gideon? Mr. Graham.
Madam President, Board, good evening. Tonight, I'm going to present to you the financial report for the month of February. We'll start again with the statement of operations for the general fund. Currently, we have revenues in excess of expenditures of 17.5 million. Next month, February is kind of a lean month, and the fact that property taxes are due basically January, or you start collecting counting interest February 1. So most of the taxes have been paid by January, and state aid doesn't pay until March. So kind of a lean month on revenues, but you can see we've collected 76.5% of our revenues, 99.76 of our property taxes of what was budgeted. 122% of other local immediate sources, but again, that's where our COVID monies have come, were placed. State, as I mentioned, state program revenues will start again next month, so we'll start collecting our share of that as well. Expenditures are relatively in line. Again, about the only thing that's out of line or what we spent on COVID, mostly in function 33. Are there any questions on the general fund? Okay, we'll go to debt service again. Little activity, not that, we get here is we do not get any state aid. So what you show here is tax collections and interest earned. And then we've made our payments for the year on debt service. So any questions on debt service? Okay, food service has been the case all years, running in a deficit. We've kept that deficit as small as we possibly can. Again, we've not filled some positions. Our revenues are way down, but again, we've kept expenditures down as well. So we will run a deficit in that fund this year, but hopefully it won't be much more than what it is now. And the makeup will be made in food service fund balance. Narrative, again, basically just goes over what I just mentioned. We'll go down to the investment report. Federal Open Market Committee didn't issue a statement in February. Which was kind of unusual. They usually do that during these times. I do want to mention that we will have a refunding, and if you paid attention, interest rates for about 2 weeks ago were climbing. Well, now they're starting to dip again. So last week they started going back down. If that trend continues, then we'll be good shape when it's time for refunding next month. Tax collections, I finally got my columns right, so I'm pretty happy with myself. I've gave myself a gold star.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Hey, Glenn, on the food service, are all the districts pretty much in the same boat we are?
Matter of fact, most of them are in a lot worse shape than we are.
So this is probably something we could stress to our legislators that money really does need to flow down to us, because everybody's in the same boat as far as food service goes, right?
We can't take money out of food service, but we can put money in.
And we'll have to, right?
And we will. Well, again, we do, as of right now, have enough fund balance to cover that deficit, but it is something that, if things, I know a lot of districts are going to have to supplement their food service with general fund monies. Investment report, again, we had an ending cash balance of $150 million, almost 151. And that's broken down by investment and fund. And this is just detail on tax collections report. As I mentioned earlier, we had actually 97.7% of current collections have been our current roll have been collected. And when you add in the delinquencies, it's right at 99% of what we've budgeted. So we're looking good on that. And this is just a report from Ramsey County explaining that. Any questions on the financial report? Okay. The next thing we'll talk about is our preliminary ninth grade budget for next year. As I had presented to you on the 11th of this month, I gave you kind of a preliminary district-wide budget for next year. And during that time, currently with what we anticipate student enrollment be and property go, we're expecting an increase in revenues of about $5.6 million. And as of right now, again, I haven't had our budgetary meetings with individually with principals or staff. anticipating an increase in expenditures of about 6.3 million. And that does include the ninth grade center.
Can you,
Should see.
It's in board book, but I don't see it up there.
it's a PDF. It's not there?
The opening rationale is up there, but not the budget document.
I think it is.
That's rationale.
The budget that Glenn submitted, can you put it in the K drive? In there?
It's in ours.
On the board. I can't tell what it's called. Grade center expense as budget.
Okay, go to the K drive. Oh, never mind.
Ninth grade center expense as budget.
That's what it looks like it's the name of it is.
File name.
Let me see if.
The file starts with the number 9th. Uh-huh,
The word
yeah.
9th. Oh, actually spelled out. NINTH.
Well, it's not spelled out.
Oh.
clearly on the-
Really?
The tab on the file. It's spelled out.
Right, you're right.
Camera.
Right.
Number 9.
Oh, I
Excuse me.
pressed-
Expensive. Robert, if you want to go to, I've already uploaded it into on the board page on the website. If you go to
board book.
Yeah, go to the extras.
You can find out if I can remember what my login is.
Well, no, just go to our website.
The website, I got you.
Anyways, I'll shed some more light on this. But again, as I presented on the 11th, we're anticipating right now of an increase in revenues of 5.6 and roughly an increase in expenditures of 6.3. So as of we sit right now, I'm kind of looking at a deficit budget of about 700,000. I anticipate that when we finish this year, that we will increase fund balance by anywhere from maybe 4 to 6 million. So that, if that's the case, our fund balance at the end of this year will be anywhere from 41 to 43 million dollars, which is 46% of our operating, which will be 46% of next year's operating. So again, if we do run into a $700,000 deficit, we are financially, we'll have 41 to 43 million in the bank to take care of that. Obviously, that's not something we want to do. It's just usually we never really expend everything that we budget, to be honest with you. It's just like this year, we passed a balanced budget and we're looking at roughly 4 to 6 million that we will. And again, it's based on a very conservative revenue estimate. We're going to collect more revenues than we budgeted and being a little excessive on some of our expenditures. So making sure we budget for everything, but we usually don't expend everything. One of the things that we usually don't ever expend is payroll, to be honest with you, because every time someone leaves, that lag time in between, well, those are monies that are not being spent. So we usually have anywhere from $1 million to $1.5 million left over in payroll just from lag time. And so, again, a small deficit doesn't bother me that much, especially when we're also anticipating about 2 million in capital projects. So that's a one-time expenditure. Obviously, wouldn't want to adopt deficit budgets every year. Even though when I was at Ramrock, we did it every single year I was there. We adopted a deficit budget every year, and every year we came out adding to fund balance. But that's not a practice I'd want to get in, and that's not what we do here. But if it's a one-time deal where we say, okay, we're going to build a new HR building, well, we'd understand why we have a deficit in 1 year. But what I've done here, and again, this is preliminary, kind of listed out the positions that would be new to a new campus. These are positions that if we did not open a new campus, we would not hire. So this is a budgetary impact of opening a ninth grade center. It's kind of the same process we went through when we opened Curley. You know, obviously we needed to bring new people in, new custodians, new support staff, everything that was needed for that new campus, even though, you know, a lot of the teachers were being shifted there and a lot of the students were being shifted there. And we opened Curley in 20. Now, that was a kind of a strange year because we changed fiscal years, so we added quite a bit to our fund balance. But even if we had operated on a 12-month in the year that we opened Curley, we still would have added about $1.8 million to fund balance. So even though we added the school and added those expenditures, additional expenditures that had a budget impact, we still finished the year with a surplus. So again, there is a process we go through and we determine, hey, you know, what's our additional revenues for next year and what's this impact going to be? Well, these are the positions plus benefits that we anticipate that will be needed because of a new campus, opening a new campus. This does not include teaching positions for growth, which is not necessarily a budgetary impact because you're going to have that growth whether you open a new campus or not. So that's why those numbers are not up here. But they are in, again, the budget. Everything you see here and everything we anticipate for next year is what I presented to you on the 11th. So this is not new costs. This is not new. It was included in. So this, even though this has a budgetary impact of 3.7, I still only anticipate an increase in total expenditures of 6.3. Does that make sense? Okay. So these are the things that we look at. Obviously, we have additional personnel for the campus, but we also have, okay, we're going to have some additional maintenance repairs, even though it's a new building and most things are under warranty. There'll still be some window breaks or rock hits it or something. There's just things that are not under warranty that we'll need to fix. Of course, we have additional utilities, some software. A lot of software we get is by campus. And student contracted services, pest control. We have a new campus for pest control, things like that. Staff development services. A lot of times campuses bring people onto their campus for some staff development. Obviously, we're going to need custodial supplies for a new building. We're going to need new library books. We're going to have to staff a new library. Instructional supplies. A lot of instructional supplies that are shared at the high school, shared by freshmen. So we'll have to duplicate those calculators that are shared at the high school. We can't obviously, now it's 10:30, let's run all the calculators over here. So we'll have to get some instructional supplies that are needed. Again, training supplies. We'll have new training rooms, athletic training rooms. So we'll have to do that. We have a new weight room. That will increase cost, administrative supplies. But anyway, you go through there. You know, there's just things that are going to be, can't be shared as it was. They'll have to be duplicated. And then some miscellaneous. Obviously, our property insurance is based on square footage. So we'll have some additional property insurance. Membership dues that usually go with new principal, assistant principal, things like that. Awards for the campus, and just again, whatever new employees we have, there'll be some new employee travel. So we really, again, went through this process at Curley. We ended up being very close in what we estimated it to be. To be honest, I'm kind of looking at this as if we're opening up a new middle school. And what it would cost for that. And so not only the history we have here at this district, but I beg, borrow, and steal from all my peers across the state because schools are opening all the time and there's a process and a template you go through. So if you look at the bottom, you have new employee costs of 1.2 million. FFE remaining. We've spent about 1.4 million on furniture so far. This remaining will come out of, not bond dollars, but it will come out of M&O. Again, whiteboards, athletic training tables, just anything that basically you would walk into a building and need to outfit, desk and stuff. So we've got 1.6 million budgeted for outfitting the rest of the school. That allotment there is an estimate on what I think the campus will need when we meet with Dr. Whitfield. So we'll meet with her and we'll determine what are her needs. And that's really based on a percentage of what the high school had last year. So obviously, even though we'll increase in ninth grade, some of the high school will be a reduction. So a lot of and I know Mr. Christian's going, what? But it's true. His campus budget will probably go down. He'll have fewer students. And then again, that's 844 is estimated utilities, water, insurance, and those types of fixed costs.
The FF&E, is that capital dollars or is that?
This is not.
Okay,
We have some capital dollars that we have already spent, but we have maxed that amount that we have budgeted. And this is what M&O. Okay. This is M&O here.
But it's a one-time deal, right? I mean, it's not like a yearly kind of.
No, the only thing, the employee cost will be a yearly, the allotment in the bottom, but that 1.6 is a one-time hit.
In the double asterisk there does not include the teaching positions for growth. I'm assuming we're thinking about 2022 and going forward.
Right. But, again, that's district-wide. Some of those will fall under here, but if you didn't have this campus, they would fall just, the reason it's not here is, again, it's not a budgetary impact based on just opening a new campus.
Got it.
That's why we didn't put them in there.
So, and I'm probably responsible for this, but the whole deal was, we thought, I was here when we closed down when it got tight and we had to close down a school, right? So with virtual, we built this ninth grade center before virtual, right? And all of a sudden COVID hits and we get virtual and, all of a sudden we get a lot of kids out of the classrooms. And we asked the question, well, if we go virtual next year too, is it still the fiscally responsible thing to do to open that ninth grade center, with the amount of money it costs to run one, are we still in need of it with so many kids being virtual? And, I know it costs a lot of money, but it looks like, it's other things too that we need to move that way,
Right.
Well, again, I would say it's fiscally responsible in the fact that we're building this based on what we estimate revenues are going to be. If I was going to come to you and say, if we open this campus, we'll need to adopt a $5 million deficit budget. Well, obviously, we didn't have the revenues to do that. And it's not, again, as far as fiscally responsible, it's really no different than Curley. And this district will be open a middle school next. And the only reason we do it is for the growth. And the growth generates the dollars. I totally understand your argument and the fact that, do we need the space if we don't have as many kids there? But these costs are not going to go away. Basically, yeah, you get the 1.2, but everything else, even if we didn't have kids there, I would still buy the furniture.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not getting it, leaving stuff doesn't get cheaper. And so I would still outfit, I would still do that. So about the only cost savings would be that, but then you've got additional cost of maintaining an empty building.
Oh, yeah.
And so, as far as that's concerned, I think it would, the COVID has kind of helped us on space this year. We have an open campus at lunch solely based on the fact that we don't have enough room to feed all those kids. That's really our driving factor on opening lunch at the high school, is because we just don't have room. If we do this, we could close campuses. We could increase the food service revenues. We could. I mean, it's just something that we could.
Well, and it's really, what, in 11th graders will not have open campus next year because that's been part of what's been killing the cafeteria budget is the fact that you've got juniors and seniors that leave campus every day and are not eating in the cafeteria. And so next year, the juniors will not have that option. It'll only be a senior privilege as it's always been. We allowed the juniors and seniors to leave because we could not safely space them out in the cafeteria and have them eat safely.
And
yeah.
Yeah. So what does COVID hold in our future?
Popeyes may not like that, but.
I tend to think that the state is not going to continue to maintain hold harmless.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are going to push hard for it to be in person.
And
reasons.
And they are, and I think the commissioner's call today indicated that. Now, I think to appease a lot of these districts who want to offer a virtual option, they have an application process. But they're not going to just give a carte blanket approval for everybody. You're going to have to meet certain criteria. And even for us internally, we want to offer a virtual option for the kids in the situations where it is successful. I think for the most part, we expect everyone to come back and be in person.
Well, I mean, I think that's justification enough, you know, to me, if we feel like we're at, what, 60% now?
We're at almost 70, 68.
68%, that in person, right? If we expect that number to go up.
Oh, yes.
Plus with the number of increase in enrollment of kids.
Yes.
Plus the increased enrollment.
Yeah, but you're still not maxed out, right, at the high school.
No.
But it still kind of shifts you to where you can do start the construction over the high school too.
I think the only saving grace this year for the high school was the fact that we had virtual learning. Had we had a regular school year, that campus would have been a sardine case. It was already tight the year before. This year was, Mr. Christian and the administrators were already bracing themselves for a very crowded school year. So in one way, COVID has been a lifesaver in that we didn't experience that overcrowdedness. I think looking at the numbers next year, and that's part of the next slide, is that we're going to need that campus. COVID's, even with the vaccines, COVID is going to, and Kendra and I have talked about this, COVID is going to be, it's going to be part of our landscape, and we're going to continue to have to mitigate it in some way. So I think moving the ninth graders over there is just going to provide that ability to spread out. And not only that, address the social emotional needs of the kids, address learning loss that has taken place in 7th and 8th grade. Remember, these are the kids who've lost a good portion of their spring 7th grade, and then 8th grade, obviously full of disruptions. And now we're sending them to 9th grade. We need a concentrated focus for those kids there.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying, I think I needed to hear the reasons why, because we're going to need to justify it when, if we first open up and we still have a virtual and we're 68%, people at the high school and we're 68% at the 9th grade center too, it's going to look very empty, I mean, both of them are. So you're probably going to get a lot of community. Why did you open that up?
Especially ones that were here when veterans closed down.
Yeah.
I do not think that we're going to be at a 68, 32, or either at a 70-30 or an 80-20. I think if we have a virtual option, you're looking at more at a 90-10. I could be wrong, but it's going to be a very small offering.
But on the back end of this, we're not looking at a lot of the metrics that we are going to be seeing here towards the summer of all these big companies that have moved in the area where people are finding homes and they've got to go find it affordable. And we're still in a spot that is a lot more affordable than you go in Austin. So some of these increases that we're going to see in home sales are nowhere close to what we've seen already. So it's climbing.
There's been, I don't know if y'all paid attention, the last 2 or 3 days, there's been several national articles talking about this is literally the hottest real estate market in the USA. there's an article on Redfin where there's a realtor in the area and saying that 20% over asking prices about what's going right now. And they were talking, New York Times actually came out and had a headline said Austin is the hottest market in the country. And so it's, the growth around here is, and I talked to a home builder the other day and asked him what their prediction was. He says they see an upward trend for the next 10 years.
And one of the reasons is that these people can buy a house that is brand new at a much better price than they can buy a used house.
Yeah, so, this is, I don't see this, this area, the sector Austin, Round Rock Metro slowing down anytime soon. And I was surprised when that home builder said, no, we're making forecasts that it's going to be upward for 10 years around here. Any questions on the numbers? Okay. Pull the other.
We're putting those together so we could see that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Did you want me to open the other slide too, or?
Yes, please. Just a few talking points as far as opening the ninth grade center. And just a few reminders of where we are with numbers. And the very first capacity that Hutto High School was built for 2,400. This year's enrollment, next year's enrollment is expected to be at 2,572. And then the following year in 22-23, it's expected to be at 2,865. And so I think
Templeton's number?
Okay. Yeah. And so I think, like I said before, I think the COVID situation made the numbers tolerable this year. Spreading kids out for safety, I think, is something we need to continue to be mindful about. And like Mr. Graham was saying, that the non-instructional costs for opening the school are not going to decrease. So there was going to be an impact to expenses. Because I tell you what, if we didn't open it for whatever reason, if the pandemic continued to worsen and we weren't going to be able to, or we were going to have to continue to offer a virtual setting, obviously with only a 68% of the kids coming in person, that would have been a fabulous training site. We would have equipped it and used it as a training site for the coming year.
You could have all your virtual teachers teach from there.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Because really 68% is only 1,750 kids, so you take the ninth graders out of that too, it's pretty scarcely populated over there. And, is what I'm worried that if, people get to seeing that then it's like, why did you build that? Like, well, that's, anyway, I can wrap my head around opening it. I mean, I really can.
Okay. The last bullet, and obviously moving the ninth graders out is going to give us that opportunity for the renovation. And we haven't begun to tackle that yet because pending, we haven't started talking about selling the next set of bonds, but that's the next targeted project, is that high school renovation. Not to mention the need for another middle school. Traffic congestion at Hutto High School is going to be reduced by 800 fewer kids. Yeah. Yep. And obviously there's already so many things in motion. The transfer of the staff has already begun. That's been a very stressful process for the kids and for the staff. I mean, not so much for the kids, but I know for the staff. And I look over at Lisa because she's been working with the principals on doing that. Dr. Whitfield has generated, she is just a bundle of positive energy with the kids and the staff. I think we would crush her spirit. Then the last two, I think, are really what we're most hopeful about. Dr. Sermani and the whole instructional team, we're really looking forward to just the innovation with the learning spaces there at the ninth grade center. And I forgot to mention this in my superintendent report, but this Saturday, we're actually taking the Hippo Nation University class to tour the facilities. That we're gonna take them to see the ninth grade center. So if any of you want to join us, get a cup of coffee. We're all gonna drive in our own cars. Obviously we're not gonna load up in a bus like we've done in the past. But I think one of the pieces that excites me the most about that building is just the opportunity for some unique learning learning experiences for the kids.
What time?
At 9:00.
Your meeting where?
At the transportation facility. We'll meet there and then we'll go into tours. So you can just come and do that part and then you can.
I'll be judging.
You'll be judging. And then the very last one, part of the staffing is asking for additional counselors, that additional social or crisis counselor to address social emotional needs. I think moving the ninth graders over there at this critical time and giving them their own space is good for their mental well-being. So that was our rationale, but I think you go to the very first bullet, that's the biggie for me. It's about growth and an overcrowded situation.
Can I ask, it's quasi on topic. So this time next year, or I guess in the fall, if you have students that are, they don't have enough credits to be a sophomore, they need to take some freshman classes, but also some sophomore classes, how do we address that?
All children will pass all classes.
Great.
Good answer. Good answer.
Move in.
Yes.
They're not our native students.
Go ahead, Dr. Sermon.
And I don't know if Dr. Whitfield's out there and remembers, because we had a long conversation about this. We came down on some parameters around that very question. And I hesitate to answer because that was a while ago. It's written. And I know for the most part, I think Dr. Whitfield's out there. Dr. Whitfield, do you remember where we came down on that?
Yes, I do. Good evening, everyone. We decided if the students do have their credits above 6, they will be at the high school if they transfer in. We also talked about students who are currently at the high school. If they're unsuccessful with their courses, they will remain at the high school, and we will keep all pure freshmen at the ninth grade center, and no one will fail once they enter ninth grade at our NGC.
Yeah. We'll have credit recovery opportunities for them at the high school then.
Yes, we will not keep second year freshmen at the ninth grade center.
Okay.
They'll all move on. Yeah.
So one other thing, how does the busing work? I mean, really, are we going to have 2 sets? I mean, is that captured in the budget too?
It's captured in the budget. It's part of that routing and the, in an indirect way, those positions at Little Hippos are an impact of us changing the bus routes so that we could be more efficient in that. But are you asking about?
Just ninth grade and high school? That
ninth graders will be on their own separate routes.
Right.
Asking?
Yes.
So they'll need a whole set of buses to go across the whole district as well. I mean, we're not like busing to the high school and on the way to the bus barn, dropping them at the.
Who knows? It could be depending if that's the most efficient route. They're all starting at the same time. I'm not going to say that that's not going to be a possibility, but David Ecker is working on that.
They're routing the bus for ninth grade center.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So I guess the model at the ninth grade center for busing, a totally separate set of buses than the high school buses.
Well, what we're actually doing some things to improve the efficiencies by going triple routing next year so that we can separate. Currently, your secondary runs might include middle and high school together. Triple routing is going to allow us to break those routes up. We use less equipment, less drivers, run elementary runs, run middle school runs, and run high school runs. It could be, depending on where the children are located, there might be a ninth grade center only bus that goes into that neighborhood. But generally, all the senior high students will ride together on the same bus.
All the ninth graders and seniors, and you'll drop them here and then on your way. Okay.
Yeah, and another thing
that's pretty efficient there. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that like those kids that would need to go after school to marching band practice, they're going to ride a route bus, and that will become a stop along a route.
I got you.
As opposed to us running a shuttle.
Right.
Looking for efficiencies that way. And then those youngsters, let's say we have a varsity kiddo that makes the football team. They might start at that campus, mom, dad drops them off, and they ride a route bus that just unloaded kids over to the ninth grade center. So it's a lot of scrambling, but there's some efficiencies by being able to spread that volume out a little bit. Sorry, I'm here.
That's good.
Thank you.
You came in right on time.
Any other questions about that?
Thanks for having the discussion.
No, you're welcome. Good. Need to talk about
Okay.
this.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. And Morgan, I would like to pull out item 9G.
Okay.
Please. So take a look at that and just let me know when you're ready. Unless anybody else has any to pull out.
Good.
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 Okay. So is there a motion?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended by pulling the item 9G.
Second?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hubbard and second by Mr. Chavez. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. So I wanted to pull 9G out because Morgan, Felix, and myself serve on the Hutto Resource Center Board. So I believe we need to recuse ourselves from this vote. So if you guys have any other discussion or need to talk about that, you're welcome to, but that's why I pulled it.
Can we do it with 3?
Mm,
I mean, it's the majority here.
Majority here.
Yeah. So who would like to make a motion?
I will. I'll make the motion to approve it.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so motion made by Mr. Boutwell and second by Mr. Owens, and recusing myself, Ms. Hubbard and Mr. Chavez. So of the 3 of you, all in favor? Okay, motion passes 3-0. Okay, Mr. Gideon, I think that you're up for the rest.
Madam President, members of the board, the first action item tonight is with regards to a temporary construction easement. Board members may remember that we did a real property transaction with Jonah in exchange for an acre tract of property on the FM 1660 school site adjacent to our ag barn. Jonah gave us meters and some infrastructure to help us with our 9th grade center project. It was roughly valued at about a $95,000 swap. This is a resolution that's an amendment to the existing agreement that will allow Jonah to go ahead and develop their infrastructure. What is planned is a water tank, not the elevated tank, but a water tank that'll be low profile and on the ground. Is to improve their infrastructure, and it'll bring water in to a pumping station that then makes its way up into that 2 or 3 million gallon tank that's over there. They need to go ahead and get started, but they can't take ownership of the property technically until the plat is filed, and the city won't allow us to file the plat until the 9th grade center is done. So this is a workaround. This gives them permission through a temporary construction easement to enter the property and begin the work. All we're asking for tonight is approval of the resolution. It will go to their board for approval and then back to Dr. Thomas for signature.
So you're saying the city doesn't want to give them permission until the 9th grade?
Well, there's a formality in how plats are handled, and the city won't accept the final plat until we are ready for our certificate of occupancy. It's a technicality. It's something in their rules and their system. And remember, this is new to them too, because that's a freshly annexed site. So.
Is there a motion?
There is. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution and second amendment to the non-standard service agreement by and between Jonah Water Special Utility District and Hutto Independent School District. 9th grade center, FM 1660, together with a possible temporary construction easement.
And there are a massive amount of attachments if you've had a chance to look at them.
Okay, a motion made by Ms. Hubbard. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Mr. Boutwell. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? And motion passes.
Thank you, Board. I'll let Brandon introduce our next two items, and I'm here to help answer some questions. So Brandon?
Good evening, Board. Good evening, Dr. Estrada. John, know that this past winter storm blew down our stadium and
Blame it on insurance?
that was one of the things I heard after the fact was that the storm had blown it over. That's why it's down on the ground. Anyway, I'm here tonight to present our contractor, Joris, and our architect, VLK. We went through some blood, sweat, and tears to come up with this GMP tonight, and not really take anything away from them. I'll let them present on it, but just know that we, the district, have really enjoyed working with both of these firms on the pre-construction process with them, and now we're looking forward to working during the construction process with them. So they've been a great firm to be working with. So without further ado, here's Burton Hackney with Joris Contractors.
Good evening. Can I go without my mask? I got, all right. Huh? I got my shot. All right, thank you. Nice to see you all. How are everybody? It's been a couple months since I've been back, so thank you for having me back. Who's running point here? I am.
Always Dr. Sermani.
Yeah, Brandon and I were talking earlier, and he said he had a few calls that said that, what happened to the stadium? That's hilarious that somebody would drive along and not know it was there anymore. The top wood.
It went down pretty quick.
It did.
It did. It did. They're pretty efficient. Okay, so we're here for the GMP2 approval. We were here in January to talk about GMP1. We split the GMP into two pieces because we are working with a very aggressive schedule. And if we were going to make football season opening, we needed to make sure that we were getting work put in place. So we thank you guys for allowing us to do two GMPs. The first one was primarily for the demolition and for the site work that we're doing now that you guys see going on, and for the procurement of the steel, which we are almost done designing and getting the shop drawings approved and hopefully getting in the queue for that pretty soon. And so GMP2 is for the balance of the work. And we're here to talk through that tonight. Here's some really great pictures of the work that VLK has been doing, just to remind you guys of what we're going to be looking at when we're done and how we got here. So we were here in January, we had done a 50% GMP budget based on the drawings that we had to date. We got the final drawings from VLK on February the 8th, which were our 95% CDs at that time. They were 95% complete. Sent those out to our bidders, and then we had our Snowmageddon happen. So we had to postpone our bid. We were planning on bidding the week of the storm, postponed that back a week to March the 4th. And we have been spending the last 3 weeks reconciling the budget and trying to find out how to get ourselves in budget. We had some prices that have come in. It has been a very volatile time in the construction business. I don't know if you guys have seen anything around construction materials and steel and everything that we have that is really going through the roof right now. So we've been trying to manage costs. But the good news is we have done some really heavy lifting over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we are at a budget that we're going to present to you guys tonight. These are some of our major players, which I don't know if you know any of these folks. JT Williams and Mason. Design, Welding, and Fab, our structural steel, they're a Hutto business. So we're really excited to have them on board. They are located here in Hutto, and not only going to be doing the supplying of our steel, but they're also going to be doing the erection as well. So we're really excited that we're able to work that into the project. Precision Plumbing for our plumbing, Airco, they do a tremendous amount of our work. Wayfield Group, and then Grafton Reed is going to be doing the drywall and all the paneling. When I say the paneling, what you see up on the high areas of the press box, all the fancy paneling, they're going to be doing all of that. We took bids. Now, this is not total project cost. Remember, this is our GMP2 cost. We came in at $12,885,074, which was considerably over our budget, and we have spent the last 3 weeks, and we have identified $2.3 million in savings. And that has got us down to a GMP2 of $10.5 million. So this is the recap when we were here in January. 5.3 million, now to a GMP 10.5 million, which puts us as a total project GMP of $15,858,000. Some of the things that we were able to do that we've identified, and I want to thank my partner here, Tim, and his team with BLK. They have been very accommodating because we are very sensitive when we get into contracts and it's easy for us to talk about the things that we can take out to save money, but it often comes at the time of what the hard work they put in on the design side. So we've really tried to find solutions that don't take away from the work that they've done to make it look so beautiful. So a lot of the things that you don't see that are behind the scenes, so to speak. So we've looked at modifying the masonry wall system on the concession buildings, things that will look normal to you, but will save some money. We've modified the perforated metal screening at the press box stair walls. That's where the stairs are coming up the sides and it looks like a silo on the side. We've made some modifications to that material to try to save some money. We've made a lot of electrical modifications around light fixtures and how they're going from some more expensive fixtures to more moderate type 2x4 fixtures. Some of the site lighting is too, we've modified. The AV package, meaning that all the way the stadium works from speakers to cameras, we've really tried to trim down to what the necessities are, working with Henry and his team about what do they really need to try to make sure that we're getting in budget. And then just landscaping. We've made some changes and we're going to get down to the end and kind of see what really is necessary to get it done. It's going to look nice, but we're really trying to hold on to some dollars there. Just to remind you guys that we came to you in January and said that there were some bid options that we were going to have to try to carve out. We set aside to see if we had enough money for them. And we are not going to be able to get some things in the project. So down here on the southeast side, there was a concession stand that we didn't accept, but we are going to still build the field house. There was a play area up here that we're not going to put in. There's also going to be the memorial walk, which you can't see on the screen right now, but the memorial walk that goes out into the parking lot to the building, as well as the plaza that goes into the parking lot. We just weren't able to fund those right now in these dollars. So
the memorial walk as you come into the stadium will still be there, but just not the walk from the high school.
Correct.
Across the parking lot.
Correct. Once you get on the other side of the drainage area, it will pick up coming into the stadium.
So this one, right, you can see it on this screen.
That's correct.
Right here.
Yep, that's it. That's going to pick up there. But when you get on the other side of the, there was designed to go all the way back to the high school at one point through the parking lot. We're just not going to be able to fit that in.
And that's okay, because we still have the high school renovation project to take place and to be able to incorporate it back in there, or it could have possibly have been damaged even in that renovation. So I think that's going to be okay for now.
And the same for the entry plaza, if you will, that we extended into the parking lot that would go extend out to your temporary ROTC building.
Mm-hmm.
That too was eliminated. But again, we're still going to have a plaza as you walk up and approach the building. You're going to have a much wider space as you enter into the press box area there.
So it'll just go to the parking lot.
It'll go to the parking lot, correct?
Yes.
On the memorial walk and the entry plaza as well,
Yes.
right? So the bridge coming in, the main entry will still be there and it will look very nice. It just is, they had originally drawn it coming out into the parking lot halfway through, and that's just, I think you're right. I think you can catch that at a later time for sure.
And then just one last item on the existing concessions. We'll be doing some finish upgrades to those, as well as improving the food service equipment in those concessions areas to bring them up as well.
And a sidebar that's not bond related, there were numerous plumbing fixtures that we lost in the snow bid. So we are sending in a claim to get money for repairing those, but we didn't want to go ahead and do that work. We'll just incorporate that work with the team that we have on the ground when the time is appropriate, because we were going to go in and rehab those anyway. But I didn't want to spend any money or authorize any plumbing contracting. But all that plumbing fixture issues that we had in the snow bid will be replaced and taken care of. But that's a different source of funding.
So is our plan to have the existing concessions then be the visitors concession and the two new concessions be? And the restrooms as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll
We're
have
just going to kind of, we haven't really sat down with Tim and his team, but, you know, the idea originally was we wanted to completely segregate west side from east side and how we're going to keep the teams from interacting. We think we can do that. We just may need to move fencing a little bit. That way the existing concession restrooms become your visitor and your spring sport concessions and restrooms and your ticketing, and rehab it. And, you know, and future phase, we'll come back and take a look at, you know, eventually revamping that all together. It'll work fine.
So the great news is that because we were able to get to an GMP in January, we are in the queue for certain critical products built, primarily a lot of bar joists that are really critical across the country right now. There's some contractors that are trying to get in the queue for bar joists. Those are the long spans that hold up the roof, and they are getting lead times into October right now. And so we were lucky that we got an early GMP. We got a purchase order in, and we are going to be on schedule, which is great news. So we are optimistic for being open for the first football game. So we don't see any reason, as long as it doesn't rain all spring. And Henry keeps telling me that we're in La Nina, banking on that. So
Henry knows that.
As it, Henry, as it was hailing on my house.
Right.
And I was thinking,
I sent it, did I not send that in?
Yes, you did.
So this is a little bit of our schedule. You guys approved our GMP 1 in January 28th. We hit the ground running the next day, the next Monday, actually. Today, we're going to approve, hopefully that you guys will approve our GMP 2. And we are going to cut loose several key trades tomorrow. I mean, we are down to the wire as far as our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades, because as you can see that we're doing dirt work out there. We're about to start underground rough in on mechanical and plumbing probably in the next week. So we've got to get those guys on board. And we are still targeted for substantial completion on September the 9th.
and Burton on the grandstands, I believe it was, what was the date of when they're going to start building piers? You're going to start seeing the piers, the grandstands come out of the ground here very, very soon.
Probably then in April.
End of April.
Yep, happening. So we're excited. We are on track, and this may be one of the more aggressive design CMR schedules we've ever been a part of, but we've got a great partner, and working with Brandon and Henry has been great. So, but we're on track to open in September. So we're excited. Any questions I can answer for you guys?
The AV cut kind of worries me. We're not going to have a beautiful stadium and
not be able to hear.
No.
Or
Nope.
We're protecting well, for example, video distribution.
No, it's fine. I'm good with no.
No. There's not a horn on top of the press box.
No, not a little 2-inch horn. We're going to have great distribution.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is first class. It is going to be good.
I'm good with no.
Okay. Well, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. It's nice seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion?
Yes, the motion reads to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the, whoops, am I on the wrong one? I am. 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm on the wrong agenda item.
Loaded it.
Should be there.
No, I'm sure it is there. I just somehow I clicked on the wrong one.
The one that says 8:49 a.m.
Okay. Yes, I had just clicked on the wrong one and it wouldn't let me back out. Sorry. The motion reads to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the Memorial Stadium renovations bid package 2 as presented, and authorize Joris General Contractors to begin construction.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Okay. The motion is made by Mr. Boutwell and seconded by Terrence. Mr. Owens, any other discussion, questions? All in favor?
Okay.
Wait, are you a no, Morgan?
I'm a no.
So motion passes 5-1.
Thank you.
I can't quit watching football.
Okay.
Not happy with the press box? Your spot?
He has to see it.
I will be.
Right.
I'm happy with the drawings.
Mr. Gideon, yours.
And our next GMP for tonight, Brandon, if you'll.
Yes, I'm getting it loaded right now.
This is for our additions and renovations to the Farley Middle School. So a similar project in scope, as you will recall from our elementaries.
Good evening again. Just a quick introduction. We're gonna be okay. Tim is here to present. And then we have a new face in the room. It's Stephen Cox with Cheney Cox Construction. He is their vice president, and he's going to be presenting tonight on the middle school renovations. And before he presents, I didn't know if everybody in the room had seen what the upgrades that we were doing. So we have a video that we were going to share with everybody, just to remind us of what we're going to be doing in those buildings.
Nice.
Can we just celebrate that the video was up and worked the first time?
So Tim, the robotics room comes off the media center in both middle schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And everything.
There's two robotics rooms that are off the media center, and then there's a robotics lab that is just kind of around the corner from the art lab.
Good evening, everybody. As Brandon alluded to, we are new to the district. So first and foremost, a thank you to the school board members for your vote of confidence and allowing us an opportunity to work with and for y'all. Brandon, Henry, for the efforts y'all put in behind the scenes and getting this project where it is. Tim, VOK, has been a pleasure to work with up until this point. We're excited to be here It is our job to impress y'all and do many more with y'all moving forward. With that said, we originally had anticipated to get bids February 18th, which so happened to be right in the middle of Snowden. In an effort to get full coverage bids with subs on this project, we did postpone that to the 23rd of February. It proved to be beneficial. We did get more coverage than expected. And since the 23rd of February, we have been going through the same exercise on this particular project due to the state of the current economy. Prices are getting out of hand right now. So we have had to go through some VE exercises with VOK and Brandon and Henry, and we're able to get within slightly under budget as of 2 days ago. So here we stand tonight. Some of our major subs on this project: Precision Demolition, J.R. Snyder at Austin, Foreman Austin, GK Hall on concrete, Botcher Steel out of Lexington, Capital Acoustical Drywall out of Austin, and Quality Brickworks out of Waco. We do have a working rapport with all these subs. None of these subs are brand new to the team. We came in here with a bunch of subs we trust that could get the job done. So when on the 18th of February, the 23rd of February, we did come in approximately $1.5 million over the budget, kind of similar to the football stadium. And we have spent the last 3 weeks, again, working with everybody, and we're able to cut 1.5 million out of the project to get us to the budget of 8.8. Some of the things that we looked exploring changing or removing from the project were some of the courtyards, which I believe it is between wings D and E in both schools as they mirror each other. There was kind of some fancy courtyard area that we did look at removing. Some minor changes to some of the fine arts changing rooms, a few interior and exterior architectural features, ceilings, walls, a few things, some masonry veneer changes. And we did also have to explore a reduction in the audio visual system in the cafeteria, I believe.
And I'll just mention the video that we showed you, the character of those spaces, those really have not changed. What we wanted to make sure that what we showed you tonight is what you're going to see in the field after it's completed. But like you mentioned, some of the work associated to the exterior courtyards, which could be done at a later date, those areas, just to find some additional dollars, those were things that we felt needed to get cut to ensure that the project as it was originally described moved forward.
We too have also started to release, in a vote of confidence from y'all, we have started to release some subs in preparation to get steel joist rolling. Interior hollow metal frames are going to be a big thing, but being that this isn't mostly an interior remodel, we don't have time for a lot of site development stuff. It is going to be go, go, go. I have had the pleasure of meeting both principals. We have talked. We do have a game plan. I have met the librarian for the district. She is out of my way, ready for me to go. So we're going to make this as painless as possible for both campuses. So we sit here tonight. We are gearing up to mobilize and be on site in 2 weeks, April 5th. Again, I have made a lot of those provisions prior to coming here tonight. And we do have a 7-month duration to get everything completed. Not everything will take 7 months. Sections of the building will be ready before school starts. Other sections won't. So we do have a completion date of November 5th. We are going to strive to beat that as much as possible. I know it is a heartache when you come back from a summer break. You want everything done, clean, and ready to go. We get that. So we're going to strive and work hand in hand with Brandon and have the main areas ready to go before school starts.
Any questions?
We have a good plan from August to November, right? I mean,
yes,
we'll be in a good state to where, okay.
Yes. And we just talked about that.
Yes, it's good.
What part do we feel like we'll still be working on in the fall? You said that like the important parts will be complete. So where do you end?
There are some counselor offices. There are a few small classrooms that we're going to hold on. Just to elaborate a little bit further, there's a central area of the building. As you walk in, you see it. That is what we are starting Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to be a focal point when the kids and the teachers come back. I want that space to be usable. They've agreed to give us that space prior to the summer vacation starting in an effort that it is done before it comes back. Things that might not be done are the band hall. It's not because of the size or what's going in it. It is the lead times on getting things here. Joris alluded to joist. I have joist. Those joists have not been released yet. Those joists can't be released until we have approved shop drawings, which I have released. So with a 12 to 20-week lead time, we might see a concrete slab out there for over 2 months before anything's going vertical. So it's those things that we have to work through to help get that done. But there is existing band hall space that can be utilized if that is not quite ready to walk into in August. So those kind of things are what Brandon and I have been talking about, along with the principals, kind of contingency plans. Where can you operate? Where can you teach if that space is not available?
Thank you.
One of the things I like on this is Tim and them, I thought, did an excellent job of reworking basically what we had. I mean, everybody wants to build, and I mean, I thought that was so cool. So thank you. Thank you.
And I just appreciate, and this is kind of for the public too, that when we have a budget and we are over budget, we don't go and spend more money. We make sure that we do the cost savings and work and make sure we have a good product, but we will always stay on budget or under budget with taxpayer dollars. So thank y'all.
And I think especially keeping the integrity to the intended project too, I think, so.
All right.
One of the things that Henry and I talked about, I was like, Henry, why can't we throw $100,000 at this project or that project? He said, by the end of the 10th project, you're gonna be $1 million. But, you know, that could have gone to something else. And I was like, yeah, I never thought about that. And so that's kind of given me a better perspective of when we set a budget, we gotta design to the budget.
All right, is there a motion?
Yes, the motion reads to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the Hutto Middle School renovations. It only references Hutto Middle School. Is Farley supposed to be in this as well?
Farley as well. It should be just middle school renovations. It's part of the.
I'll adjust it. Okay, for the middle school renovations, plural.
And I think it said Hutto as Hutto ownership with, you know,
In both middle schools.
Hutto middle schools.
Okay.
That may be why it said that. And I think on
It
the.
just said Hutto Middle School, but I can fix it. That's not a problem.
It is inclusive of campuses.
Okay. I just want to make sure the motion reflected that. Yeah.
Can you reread it, please?
Yes, ma'am. The motion reads to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the Hutto Middle School's renovation as presented and authorize Cheney Cox Construction Incorporated to begin construction.
Okay. Motion made by,
I read it.
okay.
I'll make the motion.
Made by Mr. Boutwell,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Chavez. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor? And one opposed?
Yes.
So motion passes 5-1. All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And then we needed to go back to 3.
So we talk about future items and such, we will revisit item 3B. So is there a motion for that?
There is. Motion reads to approve personnel requests as presented by the superintendent.
I'm sorry, Morgan, did you make that?
I read it, sorry.
I don't hear if you're making them or not. Okay, so would somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Turner. Second,
Second.
second by Mr. Boutwell. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? And
One opposed.
opposed? Motion passes 5-1. So future agenda items and announcements and stuff. I had one thing. We talked about inviting like some of our representatives and since we can't go to the Capitol this year, we talked about inviting them here. Are we still working on that?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
When do we want to invite them? Do we want to invite them to one of the first meetings of the month, like in April or May?
That would be a good workshop, I would think. And they're still in session at that point, so we would still be able to share our priorities.
Yes.
If you can get them during session. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Maybe a representative. I mean, I can just have
Yep.
the actual person.
I know Rachel Bala with Representative
Mm-hmm.
Talrico's office is really good about responding.
We normally, for you and for Mr. Chavez, who isn't in here, normally we have a Texas Day at the Capitol or Hutto Day at the Capitol, and we will go there and meet, talk and stuff like that. But the Capitol had been closed, and so we weren't going to do that this year.
Okay.
So we talked about inviting them here instead. So that's what.
So that's good. I'll call and invite them to either April 8th or May 13th for those two meetings and see which one they can make. Okay.
Would it be a useful exercise to try to tap into like the ESD and the city to see if we could have like a joint meeting with them here, since we're not able to do that, so that we have our collective items together?
We water it down. I mean, we stand a chance to.
That's true. I mean, it was just an idea.
I'm not saying it's a no. I'm just saying you get their ideas too, and their.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said.
I'm not offended either way. I was just thinking, because I felt like that really, as a community, it really was a strong representation.
I agree.
Of our collective, like we're all working together towards the same things. But it is late in the game, honestly. Legislative session has already started, and so I could see why we would want to present our education focus items.
I'm good either way. I'm just,
So we want to invite the city or the ESD?
It was just an idea, but I mean, if we feel like is more beneficial for us to represent our specific education items that we feel like are pertinent to the district, that's fine. I was just talking out loud.
Okay.
It is.
We stand a better chance to get them though, if.
You might.
There's a larger audience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe before you invite them, maybe ask the city and the ESD.
If they haven't already had their own, I mean, they may have already set their time.
Yeah, they may not even be interested in it.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to request is just that, we kind of talked about this earlier, but if we could get the, like the presentations and stuff on, if we could get them by the Friday before our meetings, because I know a lot of us take the weekend to look over that stuff. And so it's hard when the presentations aren't going in until even sometimes the middle of the week, or for us, depending on our schedules, to get a chance to look at that. So if we can try to get that in by
Yes,
Friday.
and that we talk about that every time there's a board meeting. Our goal is always to get them in on that Friday before the official agenda goes out. We had some unusual delays this month, especially with a lot of the construction stuff and even putting some of the numbers together for the budget. A lot of work behind the scenes that had to take place. And believe me, it wasn't for lack of not wanting to do it or irresponsibility or people not working. People were working. We just didn't have the information ready to go. Yep.
It just makes us hard to be prepared to vote and talk about it.
I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think that was it. Anybody else have anything for future agenda items or?
I mean, it's not anything soon, but I mean, like maybe in June, July, I'm getting a inner city meeting with like the city officials and like we've done in the past. I feel it's important because we do have new members on both sides. So just to kind of work on that relationship.
we still do have that agreement, right? That we are supposed to be meeting quarterly.
Well,
We have the agreement. Mhm.
Okay.
And that's the agreement that says that the president and vice president meets monthly with the mayor and mayor pro tem.
I thought there was something, and I know a lot of the participants from that original time that we put that agreement together have changed. But I felt like there was some sort of not a contract, but like a compact that we were going to meet quarterly. And so, yeah, I think
that was in there.
yeah. And we've been meeting with the mayor or mayor pro tem.
At the time. Yeah, we've been meeting with Mr. Snyder for several months.
I think especially with all the construction projects going on, just so that everybody has the same information, because I think sometimes things are moving so quickly that happens from time to time. So it's just one reason why that would be beneficial.
And that's another good point too. Dr. Thomas and I were talking about, like, I know we went to having the demographic report as part of just the Friday report or, but we talked about maybe now and then having an actual like presentation because things are moving so fast. And so just, now and then having that presentation to keep us up to date.
We've never had that. We talked about having a social event to welcome Warren to the city, and because of COVID, we haven't been able to do that. So maybe we can get something on the calendar to say goodbye to Philip and Edgar and welcome the new board members and also welcome Warren, kind of put it all in one.
Okay.
I'd rather just slip off.
Sunset.
We're not gonna let you slip off without.
We want you to cry, Philip.
He doesn't want to cry in front of his friends.
Cry.
You say that now.
No, not right.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
motion made by Mr. Boutwell and second by Ms. Hubbard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.